Apple? No, not this one. This Apple, which is worth $1 trillion. Apple makes many products like the iPhone, iPad, and MacBook, but did you know that Apple generates more than 60% of its revenue by selling new iPhones every year? In 2018, Apple sold 217 million iPhones. That's the population of Brazil. The most recent data suggests that almost a third of the US population owns an iPhone, accounting for 45% of all US smartphone users. In 2017, there were 228 million active iPhones in China, while the US ranked second with 120 million. If 45% of the US population already have iPhones and there are 1.5 billion iPhones in the world, then who's buying new iPhones? That's a topic we'll cover in another video, but here's the big question. How does Apple sell more than 200 million iPhones every year? Apple's first iPhone was launched in 2007 and sold more than 6 million units. Since then, Apple has been selling iPhones every year and even launched 2 iPhones in 2016. Let's try to understand Apple's approach to selling iPhones every year. Apple has released new iPhones by just making simple design changes. For example, the iPhone 6s was launched in 2015 and the iPhone 7 in 2016. The only difference between the two of them was the headphone jack. Seriously, Apple just removed the headphone jack and 2 lines from the iPhone 6s, then they launched the new iPhone 7. Yeah, you're saying it was faster than the last iPhone, but Apple say this during every iPhone launch, and it never improves more than 25%. But Apple knows this trick will only work sometimes, so after 3 or 4 years they do major changes in the design and technology. After using Touch ID for 4 years, Apple made big changes by introducing Face ID and the full screen display in 2017. The full bezel-less display was a big success, as the iPhone X had a big display with the same size iPhone. People loved the new Face ID technology and gesture feature, but some criticized the notch design, which looked ugly. But Apple already made a big decision by replacing Touch ID with Face ID, and Apple had already planned to keep this technology for 3 to 4 years. When Apple makes big design changes like Touch ID and Face ID, they use the technology for 4 years. By only making 20 to 30% improvements to the hardware with the new phones they release every year. But technology doesn't work like that. Apple can make a chip which could be twice as fast as the current version, but Apple doesn't want to launch that chip. This is how it works. Apple will create a new chip and reduce the power by, let's assume, half. Once they've done that, they'll release the iPhone with this same chip which has half the potential it's capable of. They do this just so when they launch the same chip in the next model the following year and unlock its full potential, they can claim there's been an upgrade to the hardware. With slight hardware improvements, Apple does very little with design and color changes, but that doesn't show any of the revolutionary ideas which Apple is known for. For example, this is the new iPhone 12, which has a boxy design and a slightly thinner bezel than the iPhone 11. Here's the question. Did Apple have all the technology to launch the iPhone 12 last year instead of the iPhone 11? The answer is yes. Apple's new phone came with a boxy design, but there was a boxy design concept video which was uploaded way back in 2016 and 17, so it's not new. Apple know people like the boxy design, so Apple saved this design for a time when they did not have any major hardware upgrades to launch. I'm an Apple fan and I love iPhones, but despite being a $1 trillion business with billions in cash, Apple doesn't invent or launch any revolutionary products. During Steve Jobs' time, Apple was known for its revolutionary technology with the highest patents, but now we don't hear any patent registration news from Apple at all. This new in-display camera technology is coming from Chinese brands like Vivo, and the in-display camera is the future of mobile technology. Apple may go with an in-display camera and an in-display Face ID technology to replace its ugly notch, but Apple will not be the first in this race. Apple have mastered this game, and next year we will see the same ugly notch on the iPhone without a charging socket. The next iPhone will be completely wireless, which will force you to buy a MagSafe charger and AirPods as there is no headphone jack. Apple has done this in the past. Remember when Apple launched the same iPhone the next year without a headphone jack and called it a new iPhone? Apple can save this in-display technology for 2022 iPhones. In the next video, we will discuss Apple removing the iPhone charger from the box in the name of the environment. Apple has said by removing the charger it will save the environment, but is this only about the environment? We will tell you how much effect it will actually have on the environment and how many billions Apple can make by removing the charger from the box. What do you think of Apple's strategy? Let us know in the comments. Do you buy a new iPhone every year to get a 20% faster CPU, or do you wait for major updates? Let us and Apple know. Also, comment on your current iPhone and don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you're new here.